and welcome to another review room tutorial. This is part 2 of the tutorial where we talk about permissions. Okay, so last time, the last thing that we talked about was allowing applicants to create multiple submissions. Today we're going to be talking about the next set of options. So the next one specifically is to allow applicants to add members to their team. So if this is checked, and by default it is, this is what things are going to look like from an applicant's perspective. So there's a section here where it's going to list your members, and it's also going to say, well, this is you, and of course you can add new members. So when you click on that button, it says type in the email address of the other member or co-applicant or whatever you'd like to call them that you'd like to give access to. And of course you can either give full control or read-only access. So full control means that when this person accepts the invitation that they get via email, they're going to be able to come in and they're going to be able to modify any portion of your application just like you. However, if you give them read-only access, when they get an email invite and when they accept that invite, they're going to be able to come into your application, but they're only going to be able to view things and nothing more. So that's what this is about, and essentially if you uncheck that permission that we just showed you, this section will essentially not appear. Now, one of the questions that you may have is, well, if I do have team members, how do we differentiate between who's doing what on the application? Well, first and foremost, there's an activity feed over here, and it will actually list the name of the person who completed each one of the tasks. Now, with that said, applicants should amongst themselves coordinate to make sure that they never are modifying the same task at the same time, because that will cause overriding issues. Now, let me minimize this for a second. Okay, now I'm going to uncheck that option because we've looked at it. Now, the next question is, what about previous version, showing previous versions of documents? So by default this is off, but let me show you what it's all about. So actually, since it's off, you're not going to be able to see what it's all about, but let's turn it on for a second and save, and then I can show you specifically what that's about. This is very rarely used, but right now I've completed this task. But let's say I go in, I click on edit, and okay, so right, we unchecked the option for me to be able to edit tasks. So let me go back and turn that on. Allow applicants edit tasks after completion. So let me press save so that I can actually demonstrate this. Okay, let's refresh the page so my edit options come back. Okay, great. So I'm going to press edit here, and as soon as I do, let's just change something really simple, like, that. Just type in some text and then press next, and let's go all the way, and after I fill in this info, let's press next again, and let's just keep going, and I'll submit one more time so that my new responses are saved. Now, so I finished the form a second time. Now let's see what happens if I click on view. So essentially, when I click on view, my document is going to load, and what you're going to see is this section right here, which will show you the current version of the document, right? So now let me go back and let's take a look at this other section which says upload your resume. Now here, let's type in some text and then choose let's say this document here to upload. And basically this is going to take in our upload and it's going to apply it. And as soon as it applies it, essentially we're going to see the preview over here. I'll click on back to submission, and as soon as I do that, then let's click on edit again, and let's go and this time check upload a new version, right? So as soon as you check that, if you scroll down, let's upload a different document this time. Let's say we are uploading the sample PDF document that we have here, and when I press submit, something interesting is going to happen. So it's going to take the file, right, except this time you'll notice that the version here says version 2. Okay, and this is an actual full document, but if you wanted to see what version 1 was, you can actually go back and do that. So sometimes in collaborative efforts you would want to keep track of versions, but usually this is turned off, and the reason for that is a lot of times administrators say, well, then the applicants might say, oh, but this version of the document was a correct one, and there might be some confusion over that, so therefore we usually keep that version off. Well, there's still more, so we'll see you in the next tutorial.